taking the long way home. Just taking the long way home.
Alright, well, it's time to do the resupply video that I talked about last time. And full disclosure, I already recorded one resupply video and it was garbage. It was really bad. I watched it and I thought if I ever had to hike with that guy, I'd punch myself. It was really bad. So I'm sorry this is taking so long, but I'm improving as we go. So here we go. So the resupply, it's probably the second most asked about thing when I talk to people who aren't familiar with long distance hiking. The first thing I ask is, so like, do you sleep in a tent? Yeah, I sleep in a tent. And then they ask about, so do you stop at restaurants every night to eat? No, I don't. What we do is we ship stuff to ourselves so that we have food and supplies available as we go, and so you don't always have the convenience of a restaurant or a grocery store, that type of thing, and so you want to take advantage of resupply boxes. And typically I use a United States Postal Service Priority Mail flat rate box, the large size, and super easy to fit, like 5 days worth of resupply food in here. And if you really pack it in, depending on what you're putting in here, you could get 7 or 8 days of resupply in here if you're just going with food. One of the other things that kind of goes hand in hand with resupply as far as your food goes is gear. So let's say you have a gear failure, your sleeping pad gets a hole in it that you can't repair, or you need to send out some micro spikes or your ice axe. You didn't bring the proper warm weather clothing, or if you have to send stuff home, you brought too much stuff, you send stuff back. So you're not just resupplying food, you're resupplying gear. If there's any special medications that you take, any special dietary needs that you have, anything that's specific to you to make your hike work, that you need to get to you while you're out on the trail, you do it through these resupply boxes. Some places you can ship it right to the post office. Other places you can ship it to a hotel or a hostel. Some places require UPS or some other form of shipping and things like that, but those are all things you kind of research and work out ahead of time. Resupply can be something as simple as you do it on the trail. Some people have the ability to just go with the flow, and they don't do any boxes. They don't do anything ahead of time. They just get out there and hitch to town and go with whatever they can find. And if you can do that, that's great. I can't. And some people take it to the other extreme and they try and send too much stuff out to the trail, and it becomes a logistical nightmare, especially if things change out there. You've got all these boxes planned, you get them all taped up, labels on them where they're going, and the next thing you know, your plans change and you've got all these boxes sitting here for someone to send to you, and they're just not going to where you thought they were going, or don't contain what maybe you thought you needed. So I kind of do a mixture, and considering I'm doing this as with a vegan approach this time, there are some things specifically that I'm going to need that might not be available in certain towns. So that's how I'm going to do it. It's going to be a mixture of boxes and on trail. So to get into exactly what's in one of my boxes, one of the first things I make sure I have is a variety of plastic bags. Use them for garbage, carrying out your used butt wipe, and repackaging food that you bought somewhere, so you don't have so much packaging. You can repackage it differently. Always handy to have some of those. Yeah, enough said. Gotta have that. If you're shipping specifically via ground and not air, you can ship fuel to yourself. For me, Skittles, super sugar carbs for energy. They're a little heavy, but they do the trick for me. Ramen and potatoes. Ramen bomb. People not familiar with the ramen bomb, you make your ramen. You put potatoes in. You mix it and eat it. These are vegan. There's absolutely nothing in these but potatoes. And this is the soy sauce flavored ramen. I think it's probably the only vegan ramen there is. And so in order to juice up the flavor, because it tastes okay, but it can get kind of boring, you bring some hot sauce. You can crunch up some chips in there. Put whatever you want in here to spice it up the way you like it. Wipes. Being clean, or not clean, but as clean as you can be out there is slightly important because you stink really bad. Yes, I'm kind of a brand whore when it comes to Patagonia, but these meals are vegan. There's 570 calories in each one of these bags. It's 2 servings per container. You're not going to be hungry with these, and everything in here is good. Can you get Mountain House that are vegan? Yeah, you can. But these taste really good. And price-wise, if you buy them on sale, if you watch, they're cheaper than a lot of the other dehydrated meals out there. This is organic black bean soup. There's like a soup and chili package that you can get on the Patagonia Provisions website. And they're super good. I don't get tired of them at all. And really with the 2 servings, you could make this for lunch and then save the rest of it for dinner if you wanted to. So they go a long way. The downside to this, as opposed to a Mountain House or something, I assume people from Patagonia Company have been backpacking. They've been outside. They're experienced with this. I don't know who in the development process didn't go, let's put one of the Ziploc closures on here. They didn't do it. So it's really cool that you get done, pouring water in here, and then while everyone else is sitting around talking and being cool, you get to sit here and hold this closed and try not to burn your fingers, and wait for it to hydrate. So if you go with these, bring some type of clip or a paper clip or just something enough to keep it closed. I like something a little more sturdy to keep it closed, because that way if you do have some for lunch, and then you want to put it in the outside of your pack for dinner, you can fold it over a couple times and that kind of seals it, and then you put a solid clip on there and it should be okay. But other than that, fantastic. These are excellent. I got several varieties that I put in each bag or each box. The Nun rehydration packets. Yes, it tastes like flavored Alka-Seltzer. There's no getting around it. It's beyond not delicious, but it serves a purpose. And sometimes it's better than just plain old water. You get a little tired of that, so I choke it down. It's not bad. Cliff Builder bars. They're not that cheap, but for a breakfast option, they're really solid. They fill you up. Downside is they melt, so you end up like licking the inside of the wrapper, like you're a raccoon in a garbage can, but that's okay. And then Green Belly meal to go. these were also a game changer for me. They're not as light as a dehydrated meal, but each one of these packages has 650 calories, and it's about a third of your daily nutritional needs. So yeah, these are good. And there's two varieties that are vegan: cranberry almond and peanut apricot. Well, there might be a couple more that are vegan. These are the two that I like. That I read it and I went, I would eat those, and I have eaten them, and they're super freaking good. So then I've got several of those in here. So that's kind of what a 5-day resupply box looks like. Yeah, resupply, people, you can get just super in your head about doing that and make it not as simple as it should be. For some people, their resupply experience has been when they take their family to the campground and they forgot the buns for the hot dogs, so they have to get in the car and drive 20 minutes to the local convenience store where they charge you $5 for a $1 bag of hot dog buns. And so that's their total experience of resupply. When we did the Boundary Waters trips, there wasn't necessarily a resupply. If you were going for 7 days or 10 days, they load up a bag. And for 2 people, your food supply for 7 to 10 days would be about 90 pounds, which is ridiculous. But they're sending you out there with like griddles and cast iron skillets and tons of fuel and tons of powdery drinks and stuff to cook fish and oil and things like that. So their resupply experience has been this just an enormous amount of food and supplies and heavy gear and anything that you could ever need. Tinfoil. Okay, if I bring tinfoil, I use it for a windscreen, and it's a sheet, it's about like this. So yeah, so people sometimes have a hard time wrapping their mind around what resupply is. So the difficult part is planning exactly where some of these boxes are going to go, trying to gauge your pace, looking at, say, apps like Gut Hooks and seeing where the towns are, and then figuring out where you can send a box, where they accept them, how you're supposed to ship it there, if it's United States Postal Service, UPS, or whatever, and then having someone at home here to send it to you, very important. I'm lucky I've got Angie to do that for me. She's willing to step up and do that. So that's really it for resupply. And so yeah, maybe my monster helped get me through this. I don't know. If I go back and watch this and it sucks again, I'm going to get drunk and do it all over again. So I know some of my friends are like, yeah, let's hope this sucks, and he gets just shitty and does it again. But that's not plan A. That would be plan C if this turns out really bad. So yeah. Oh, another thing I didn't think of. Shoes. If there's a certain type of shoes you like, and you think you want to buy ahead so you can resupply yourself with shoes, maybe buy one pair, because after a certain number of miles, your feet are going to get bigger. I know on the PCT, my foot size went up a full size. And so I bought one pair to ship out to me. And then if I need to, I would order more while I'm out on the trail. It just makes things a little more difficult as far as planning. Amazon's usually pretty good about shipping quickly and getting it to where you need to. But some of these places on the trail are so remote and such a mess that it gets hard to send stuff to. So that's where you end up doing some longer hitches into bigger towns where they might have a Walmart. They might have an Amazon drop site. They might have a shipping store. They might have bigger resources, because I've done a resupply at a convenience store on the PCT in Cabazon. Me and Yukon went into the gas station, and we ended up doing a 4-day resupply and going from Cabazon, I think, all the way to Big Bear on gas station food. And you try and be as creative as you can with gas station food. And it sounds really cool because, yeah, I mean, if you could eat the roller dogs and all that kind of stuff all the way there, it'd be really neat. But you can't, because they don't keep that well. Although, if you are not on a special diet, I'm sidetracking here, and I'm sorry. If you are not on a special diet and you are a big fan of McDonald's, you can do the McDouble challenge. And I've seen people do it. And a McDouble will not necessarily stay fresh, like hot off the grill fresh, but it will still be the same hamburger a week down the trail as it was day one on the trail. So anyone out there who wants to do a McDouble challenge, I will not do it with you, but try it sometime. Do like a 3-day McDoubles where you buy like a dozen, 20 McDoubles, and that's all you eat the whole time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's cheap. They're a little heavy. And you'll hate McDoubles after that. So that's cool. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Cabazon. So yeah, we left Cabazon with, I think we had some Spam, some Pop-Tarts, some nuts, candy, and whatever else you can get at a gas station. And that was it, and we had that for 4 days. And it made for a good story. It didn't make for good eating. But we got it through it, and it becomes part of your trail experience. So, you know, as much preparing as you do, and I've got several boxes here that I am working on, and you know, all my gear that I'm getting ready. And so as much planning as you do and all that kind of stuff, part of the fun of it is when those things kind of go out the window and you wing it and you make it up and you make it happen. That's just all part of the trail experience too. So that's what it looks like. I'm really getting excited to do my gear video. As you can tell, I've got all my stuff out here. I think I'm waiting for maybe one more thing to come in the mail, and then I should be able to do it. But I've got some new gear that we'll see how that works out. And oh yeah, I'm super excited to do it. More excited than the resupply video. So, but I'm glad I got through it sober. If you have any questions, certainly put them in below here, and I'll try and answer them. If you want to follow me on this hike, or want to follow me for my next video on the gear, hit the subscribe button and hit your notifications so that you know that I've got something coming up. That's what I know. Thank you, and we'll see you for the gear video, which I'm super excited about. Okay, I just finished watching back my resupply video, and before I go, get your friends, get a lot of beer or your favorite beverage, go back to the start and take a drink every time I say Look at the camera, Mike. Quit looking at your hand.